What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Burnham RC Racing YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about the difference between CV and universal drive shafts, when you should use them, as well as do a little install on my XRAY XB8 buggy. So let's get into it. The main difference comes from friction. The barrel and pin design of CV drive shafts has a lot more mechanical bind than that of universals. Universals are a lot more free, and that freeness in the front end is going to give you a feeling of more steering, and in the rear end that freeness is going to feel more forgiving over bumps. Your suspension isn't going to have to work as hard to overcome that mechanical bind that's in your driveline. Universals are going to be more common in lower grip, bumpy tracks with slower speeds, whereas CVDs are going to be typically the drive shaft of choice for high grip, smooth tracks with a lot of on-power corners. Universals are typically found in your C-Hub cars, your Technos and your Losis, whereas CVDs are typically found in your Pillowball cars, your X-Rays, your Mugans, your S-Works. And I'm not entirely sure why that is, but it might have something to do with the fact that tracks in Europe are typically a lot smoother, they're usually a lot faster, and a lot of Pillowball cars are of European descent. CVDs are going to require a little bit more maintenance. You're going to have to occasionally take them apart, clean these outer CV joints and grease them, whereas universals require very minimal maintenance. You'll occasionally maybe give them a clean, spray them down with some silicone lube, and they should be good to go. If you're looking at doing a transition from CVDs to universals, you are going to have to do a bearing change in the rear end. On this XB8 buggy, you have to change the inner hub bearings to an 8x16x5 bearing, so your inner and outer bearings are going to be the same. It's not a big deal. It's something to keep in mind though if you are doing the switch. So with that, let's get into an install on this XB8 buggy and install this drive shaft. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn this buggy around because we're going to be installing on the exhaust side. I like to remove the shock. That'll give the arm the play it needs to pull that drive shaft out. Next thing we're going to do is we're also going to pull out the camber link. That way we can give some movement in the hub. And again, pull that drive shaft out. This is a fairly straightforward install. It's not complicated. Again, the only thing you might have to keep in mind is if you're going from CVs to universals is that you want to replace that outer bearing. So right now we're going to pull out the set screw that holds in the drive shaft. It's just held in with a 2.5mm hex, and you're going to have to hold your hub with your wheel wrench. Next, I will push out the pin that holds on the hub. We can pull the hub off, no problem. And now we will be able to get this drive shaft out. And for those of you that are wondering why I'm going from a universal to another universal, it is because these are actually Mugen universals. The Mugen universals will work in the XB8 buggies. They're a little bit more budget-friendly option for these buggies. However, I have had some reliability issues with them. I've snapped the heads off of 2. So they do fit. Take it with a grain of salt. They may or may not have reliability issues. But today we're going to be installing the proper X-ray part number. So we're going to insert our drive shaft here. We're going to push it through the hub. And line it back in the diff cup. I also like to add a little bit of grease to the drive shaft itself. That usually will stop the hex from seizing to the drive shaft. The doesn't say it anywhere in the manual, but it's a good tip that I always tell people to do. We're going to line up the hole in the hub and the drive shaft. We will just reinsert our pin. Grab our grub screw. Make sure it is cleaned off because we're going to install some fresh thread locker. You don't want to over tighten these threads with this grub screw because you don't want to damage that drive shaft. So I usually give it a good snug and let the Loctite do most of the heavy lifting. We'll just carefully insert it there. Again, hold our hub with our wheel wrench. Tighten down our grub screw. And that is it installed. Next, we will reinstall our camber link. Make sure you place it in the same position in your shock tower. Don't make the mistake of misaligning it. We will then just retighten our nut with our 5.5 open-ended wrench. Then we can reinstall our shock, and this is a left-handed thread. And just like that, we have fresh Universal Driveshafts for our XB8 buggy. I hope y'all enjoyed that simple explanation of CVDs versus universals. Let me know down in the comments if you'd like these types of videos. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next one.